Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this first impressions exploration of Lisa Estabrook's Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. Now, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I could have sworn this was an independent deck at one point, but maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember. I feel like I've definitely seen it before, like not out in the market, but like just in general, I feel like I've seen it before. So I'm actually really excited to get into this. This was sent to me for review by Findhorn Press, which is a division of Simon & Schuster. So we're going to get into this. I'm kind of excited about this. I feel like I feel like I heard about it somewhere, but I don't know. So I have very little I don't really have a whole lot of predetermined opinions about this yet. As you guys know, I do tend to keep a pretty minimal collection of plant, flower, herb type decks. So we shall see how this works out. But it's in a nice, really nice box. It says on the back, every single human being is searching for meaning, belonging, peace, love, and joy in their lives. The Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle will help you remember the simple truth that all of nature is sharing, that we are all cyclical beings intimately entwined with the earth, the moon, and all of life, that we are fully supported, and that we have everything we need within us to be happy and to be whole, despite the hardships and challenges life may bring us. So it goes from there. It is a magnetic flap box, which is fun. The inside of the box here is really pretty. I am digging all of these little, what are these called? These little dandelion wispy things. Super love that. And it looks like it comes with a pretty decently substantial guidebook. So I'm going to set that to the side. And, and it's got like this is nice. So it is a cardboard tray, but it doesn't feel smushy. So I feel like it's a pretty sturdy one. And let's set that to the side. And we have a plastic sleeve. Oh, yay, the backings kind of match. Is it the same color? No, so it's very turquoise kind of blue, but it's green. Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. So we have these like dark green backed cards, these light green backed cards, these light turquoise backed cards, and these blue backed cards. So I don't know if that's for a reason, if they're grouped. Let's just see. They all start with B's or interesting. Let me just take a quick look here and just see if it references anything in the guidebook about the system. There's some really cool stuff, looks like, in here. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but right now I'm curious. There's actually a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so no, it doesn't seem like it. I'm guessing that the backs are just meant to vary like as you shuffle them because these feel, yeah, I guess we'll see. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Variable backs is kind of fun. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know if I would prefer a uniform back or if like this is fine. I guess, I don't know. I've never really encountered that before. So I will think about it as we go through the cards. So the format, so these feel like a pretty basic, like mass market cardstock, nothing special. But they look like they'll be pretty easy to shuffle. The deck looks like it has a little bit of a bow and like kind of a pull out here. This looks like where it was pinched with the plastic sleeve. So that probably will work itself out over time. Let's take a look at these beautiful cards. So we have an illustration on the top, which is gorgeous. And then we have what the plant or flower is called, and then a single keyword, and then a full message, which is super interesting. So let me read one of these. I'm not going to read them all. So this one says Aster, illumination. Like a star illuminating your way, Aster helps provide clarity and focus so that you can discover appropriate channels of communication and self-expression without anxiety and self-consciousness. Aster helps you to manifest your creative ideas, translating inspiration into physical form. Okay, I'm kind of digging the format. I feel like you don't need to rely on a guidebook. You could definitely just pull these and read the message and work from there. Here we have borage, optimism. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Calendula, communication. Chickweed for tolerance. It says chickweed is tough and knows her power. I love that. Echinacea, consciousness. Evening primrose, rebirth. Iris for inspiration. Milk thistle, forgiveness. So I'm not super well versed in herbs and plants, but I will say this looks like regular thistle to me. I don't know if is milk thistle just what regular thistle is, or are there varieties? I'm just curious. If you happen to know, let me know in the comments down below. Super curious. Rose for joy. This looks like It's a rose, yes, but it's like a very open type of rose, like not one with lots and lots of petals like I'm used to seeing, so that's interesting. Sunflower, confidence. This artwork is really lovely. Zinnia, lightheartedness. Black-eyed Susan for recognition. Chamomile, stability. That's nice. Chamomile often has like different kinds of keywords around like calm or relaxation, and so it's nice to see a different kind of association here. Dandelion for release. I love those so much. Daylily, centering. I'm appreciating that a lot of these are familiar to me. Lady's Mantle, nurturance. Lavender, restoration. Again, here we see lavender in full bloom as opposed to like the buds that we normally would see, so I appreciate that. Pansy for resonance. Purple poppy for evolution. My dog is playing next to me and he's being really cute. Purple poppy for evolution. Rosemary for clarity. Very focused on the flowers, I feel like, which is nice. Even on the herbs, I feel like the flower is the highlight of the artwork, which is great. Speedwell, insight. Stargazer lily, surrender. Bee balm for vibrance. Bleeding heart, independence. Love those. Campanula, alignment. Columbine, abundance. Forget-me-not, awareness. Hellebore or hellebore, I don't know, empowerment. Hydrangea, transmutation. Red clover, tranquility. Self-heal, responsibility. Velvet leaf, self-love. Wood betony, grounding. Crocus, opening. Oops. Daffodil, perception. Hawthorn, courage. Lady slipper, connection. Mugwort, integration. Nasturtium, vitality. Nettle, transformation. Periwinkle, intertwining. Plumbago, understanding. You can tell when I'm just totally guessing. White pine, wisdom. Love that. And yarrow for boundaries. I love yarrow. That's awesome. Okay, so let me zoom out. Let's have a little shuffle and see how they shuffle. They are a little bit taller than like standard tarot side. They're definitely an oracle sized card, so it's a little stretch for my hands, but it's not a thick deck. So let's see how it looks with all those backs as they get shuffled in together, and then see what I think. I don't know about the variable back thing. I can't decide if I like it or not. I don't think I do. I mean, I think they're all really pretty, but I think I would have preferred one of them to be chosen and gone with than all of them. But I do think it makes for an interesting, like, sort of variance to the back of the cards, particularly if you like to sort of draw from behind like that. But I feel like if you got to know this deck really well, eventually you'd sort of begin to know which cards fall into which, and subconsciously I feel like that would interfere with the reading. And maybe that's me being like overly picky about it, I guess, but I feel like I do believe the subconscious plays a role in our drawing of cards, and I don't know, I just feel like that's information that part of our brain could file, and that you might lose some of the randomness of the pull in that situation. But they are really, really pretty. And so let's do a more detailed look at the guidebook here. And then I want to compare to, I think I only have one other flower deck in my collection. So I want to do a bit of a comparison. But first, let's take a closer look at the guidebook. So we have this, I'm liking from what I've already kind of peeked at, that you have all the information about the actual individual Soulflower plant spirits, but then you also have these sections in the beginning. So I feel like this is a book. This sounds weird. It feels like not just a guidebook, but a book, because I feel like it looks like you get 9 sort of individual beginning chapters on sort of seasons and working with the deck, because you have tending the garden of your soul, starting with the soil anytime, planting seeds, early spring or new moon, supporting growth, spring. Oh, wait a minute. Could these seasons be associated with the backs maybe? Okay, we'll find out. Planting seeds, early spring, new moon, supporting growth, spring waxing moon, blooming, summer full moon, garden cleanup, autumn waxing moon, and then rest and renewal, winter dark moon, which makes sense from a growth and planting perspective. And then plant spirits information, and then cultivating a daily practice, sacred gardening. And then you have your individual plant spirits. So we have a preface here. I love that there's little quotes throughout. That's always something I enjoy. My sacred why. tending the garden of your soul, starting with the soil anytime, planting seeds. I'm not seeing anything in here, just to kind of reiterate, I'm not seeing anything that ties into the backs of the cards. So I think they are all meant to be used for all types. But these are just like little sort of write-ups on different periods of our life, like, and of gardening and kind of how those things tie together from the cursory glance I've taken so far. Rest and renewal. Oh, there's a really pretty graphic here. I wish this was actually in full color and like a little like tear out. I think that'd be really fun because there's this sort of autumn, summer, spring, winter, and you have rest. It's like associated with the different moon phases, which I think is really cool. That would be neat to have as like a little colorful guide. We have some affirmations, and then we get into the individual write-ups. Now each card looks like it has a little small write-up, which looks like it may match what's on the card. So let's look at one. Aster's literally the first one I pulled. Yeah, like a star illuminating your way. So this piece here is the same as the text on the card. And then you have a full write-up leading into an affirmation. So that's really cool. This is not the kind of thing I go for in my own practice, but I think it looks like it's really well done. And if this is the sort of thing that's attracting you, I think that's really exciting. Let me take a look at let me share, I guess, a bit of a comparison with the flower deck that I do have and that I find that I do use semi-regularly. And just so you can kind of see the difference in the way that these are put together. So this one is called the Botanical Inspiration cards. This is a deck that I picked up on a whim and turned out to have a lot of depth for me personally. But this is a US Games deck. And it's got a very different aesthetic for starters. So this one is tarot-sized cards. And this one is, at least I think this is tarot-sized. Maybe I should compare. Maybe it's not. Hold on. So here I have a Joie de Vivre card. Oh, it's not. Okay, so I was wrong. It's the Botanical Inspirations is actually a little wider and a little shorter than a standard tarot card, whereas the Soulflower Oracle is definitely wider and taller, very much an oracle-sized card. So very different in the sizing, for sure. But the way that the Botanical Inspirations cards are set up, like I'm not fond of the backs, I will say. Maybe I'm just picky about backs. Maybe that's the theme of this video. But I'm not fond of these because they have the words. If they didn't have the words, I'd really love that so much more. But this one has the name of the flower and the Latin name, I always forget what that's called, the scientific name. And then you have a set of keywords and you have a quote. It's a very different vibe. This one also has a very, it's really based on the sort of Victorian language of flowers and the associations of those flowers with like messages you wanted to communicate to people, which is completely different than the sort of, I would say, more nurturing, magical, inspiration kind of messages from this. These two have very, very different feels, but unfortunately for the Soulflower Oracle, I'm already pretty bonded to the Botanical Inspirations, and one of the things I go to this deck for is to pair with decks that feel a little more old world or a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Vintage, maybe? Because I feel like with the vintage look of these cards, they will match well with a lot of my older looking decks. And that's one of the things that this ends up doing for me besides just being a flower oracle. If this was just a flower oracle, I honestly don't know. Like if it was like more modern or brighter in its color, I don't know if I would use it as much as I do now. I end up using it quite a bit just because of its aesthetic and the fact that it matches so nicely with decks where I'm like, I don't know what will go with this. So this fills that kind of spot for me. But I think left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't purchase a flower oracle on my own. So unfortunately, the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle is probably not going to be one that I see having a permanent place in my collection. But I will say I am absolutely charmed and delighted by the artwork. I think it's really, really beautiful. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. But I know there are quite a few of you that are really excited about this deck and would want to see a full flip through. So I really wanted to share it with everybody else. But yeah, I don't think this is one that's going to find its way into my working deck library, so to speak, but it is really, really pretty and I'm pleased with it overall. I think it's a well done deck. It just so happens that flowers are not necessarily something that I'm drawn to work with at an oracle level, but I do think it's well put together. The cardstock's fine, like it's totally fine. I think this is going to be a really nice addition to a lot of people's work with plants, flowers, etc. All right, let's see how it fans. Oh, it mostly actually fanned pretty well. The cards are not over glossy. They're kind of that sort of in between where they're not super glossy, but they're also not super matte. Actually, yeah, they're kind of like a basic sort of satin finish. They'll catch some light, but they're not going to be super glossy and reflective. So that, my friends, is the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Is this one you plan to pick up for your collection? Is this one that you see having a permanent place for you? How do you envision yourself working with it? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure and click the like button if you enjoyed this video or you found value in it. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click the little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. Thank you all so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.